Algarana stuff. This is about the Korky fill valve that goes in toilets. And there are several videos on YouTube. The good one, the guy did a good job of showing how it all goes together. But I want to add a little bit. And it's mainly talking about the symptoms that I had and how I fixed it. Okay, the first symptom was that when you flushed it, it would fill a little bit and then stop, then fill a little bit, then stop, then fill a little bit and then stop. And somebody even said it was squeaking, I don't know. And the other symptom I had was I would have water coming out these holes in the top of the fill valve. And this is the fill valve, complete fill valve, you see. And this is the float down inside the box. And there's a port over here. The tube leads out and goes into the down tube that actually flushes the bowl itself from the sides around the ring. Okay, this is the Korky. Again, the symptoms I had was the filling was erratic or water coming out the top. So the videos didn't really explain what you're looking for in the way of troubleshooting. So this is installed in your tank. Now what you want to do is we want to take this cover off, and it varies. I have older Korkys where there are two tabs. This is a tab right here. Rotate it around. There. I never can do it. I'm not very good in doing stuff backwards. There. You see that tab? On the older models, there'll be one on the other side as well. And what you do on this particular one is you put your thumb underneath of it and prise it up, and it'll come right off. Okay, I don't even know if it's required, but yeah, it probably keeps stirred out. Okay, now this is what we have looks like on the inside, and what I'm going to try to show you in some detail is this right here is the float. And it is, the water fills up and it rises up and it shuts down, so the fill valve is actually inside of here. So how do you get to it? Well, the first thing you do is we're going to take off the float here, and you do that by, you see how it's sort of tagged in the top there? If you squeeze on both sides, then you can lift it up out the float out of there. And you see on the float, you see how it's got tabs right here? They sit underneath these guys right there. One on either side, like that. So all you have to do is line it up and then pinch it, and it'll set back in there. I didn't do it visually for you to see, but you see what I'm saying? You just squeeze it and you can lift it off. Okay, that gets you to this point. This is the port over here that goes to the hose, goes into the down spout part of the hole, flushes the outer ring. Okay, so yeah, the float is not much that can be wrong with it, except you'll see right here there's a rubber piece, and here, okay, if that is deteriorated or if it's just dirty, you can wash it off. But if it's deteriorated, then you're going to need another Korky. And why would it deteriorate? And I'll show you inside here as well. if you use a cleaning tab in your tank to try to keep the tank in the bowl clean, it will eat the rubber inside and it eats the rubber flap at the bottom. I've seen that happen. It also will eat anything where water contact. Now this is not really in water contact, so it's sort of okay. But in this part, as you see right here, and it's normally installed this way, what you need to do is take this top off, and I'm going to grab it and turn it counterclockwise, and now I'm going to show you. This is fully engaged, and what you'll see is that the tabs where these runners here, they're in line. I never can manage this. They're in line with this tank here, so the float sets up down. But when I rotate it, you see they're not. And when it's rotated like this fully, all you have to do is lift this cap off. Okay. And I'll get back to that in a minute, but here's another part. This is what's known as a fill tube, and you can pull that out. And in the other videos, the guy explained that you can simply pull this out and you can wash out the fill tube, this tube right here, run hot water down through that, and you make sure this is clean. You don't need to worry about which way it goes in. It will only go in one way, and you push it back in there. And it just simply, you find the hole, and you can push it down in, and it sets flat in there like that. Okay, part that's most critical. This is the actual inlet valve that the float then pushes down on, or pushes down on to close and not let any more water in. Okay, so what I found was, in my particular case, this was completely deteriorated or rotted away. The tank cleaner had gotten up in here because it was in the water. The fumes, whatever, I don't know what you call it. It ate this rubber piece inside of here, okay? And it wouldn't, that's why it was filling and then stopping and filling and stopping. It was literally leaking water. It would eventually, the float would eventually push it down enough to stop filling, but okay. So that's what I found was wrong. If yours is just looks perfect, I'm not talking no holes, this is a brand new one. There are no holes in it, no deterioration on the edges, anything wrong with it, then all you do is want to wash it out perhaps with some hot water, and that'll take care of it. But if it's deteriorated or has holes in it or anything like that, you're going to have to replace it. Now, you have this thing installed in your tank, you know, and you have this installed in your tank, and you already got the pipe. This is, you know, in its proper height and whatever, and it's been attached to the tank. So you're going to have to buy a new one, but you don't need to take this whole piece out of there. You can use, if this is perfect condition, you don't need to do anything with it. You can put it back in there. There. You can put it back in there, and on the new one, you take off the cover, you take off the float, and you get to this piece, the new piece. You take the new piece and you set it down on the top, and then you rotate it clockwise until this bridge right here is in line with the tank. You can see what I'm talking about. right there. See how the ridges up here are in line with the tank. There, I finally got it. You see what I'm talking about? That will allow you to then put your float with the little rubber piece in there. If that's looking bad, then use the one out of the new one you bought. But you don't have to take this whole piece out of your toilet. Okay, so you put this float back in here, you line it up sort of, and then you're going to squeeze the sides of it until it fits down underneath the tabs on this piece. And it'll look like that. You see how these guys are in line all the way down to the float. And if I tap on this piece, yeah, it moves freely. The float moves freely in there. And that's it. You put the top back on. Again, it can vary, but it will fit down on here. You reconnect your hose on this pipe right here, and you're good to go. So, if you have the filling, partially filling, blah, 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 or you have water, when it's filling, there's water coming out the top, you need to replace the inside, that little actual rubber in there, counterclockwise to open it up. You want to hold the tube, by the way, when you do that, but you need to replace this. Fits down in there, and you rotate it around so it's locked. Again, you want to hold the tube. You know, these tubes, you can adjust the height, and once you've got it, then you rotate. You can hold this piece, and you just rotate the upper portion counterclockwise, and that locks it. Now, if you have a height problem and it's supposed to be, the water line is supposed to be to the top of this hole right here. Yeah, you see that line over here? That line right there. That's where you want the water line to be when you adjust the height of this. So if you have it too low, then you won't get much of a flush. If you have it too high, perhaps the water will fill up in here and be just right, but it is almost to where it's getting ready to go down the tube, not the rubber flush valve itself, but down the tube. So you want this line right there to be about ½ inch or more below the top of the big round tube in the middle of your tank. Okay, and again, you can hold this to the right, lock counterclockwise, locks it in position. If you rotate it to the left, then you can slide it up and down. Okay, I think that's all there is on the Korky. New one's like 12 bucks, and it's a whole lot better than taking this whole thing, because you got to shut the valve off down below. Then you have to take the water supply line off. Then you have to empty the tank, and you have to get the water out of it, or, you don't need to do that. Just deal with this piece at the top one last time. And this is the Korky. I don't think this one's called a universal quick fill. They might have also variations of it which includes more hardware, like the rubber flap valve and things like that. But this is all you need to take care of your problem. And the ones I have that I worked on they've been installed like 5 years ago. This is a brand new one, and everything was the same except for how the top latched on. And you should be able to figure that out. It has tabs on either side, or you prise it off, or however it comes off. But it is intended to be taken off and then fit back over to keep debris out of your tank. And I'm almost done. I'm done. There. This is Uncle Ron stuff. This had to do with a Korky and what symptoms it had and what I had to find was wrong with it, and then how I in fact repaired it. And everything is looking good now. I have umpteen toilets. I have all put Korkys in all of them. I was worried maybe it's some kind of maintenance issue. I take it all apart and wash it out periodically. That was not my case. Don't use those toilet cleaning tabs in your tank. They will eat the rubber, guaranteed. Uncle Ron stuff today is the 19th of December. I will see you next time. Bye-bye now.